Okay, so if you are like most people, one of the first things you thought of when you started putting together your website was, I need a calendar to show all the cool stuff I'm doing. So now I am obligated to tell you why you do not want to put a calendar on your website. Um, you can do it. There are lots of calendar plugins you can use. If you want a calendar, you would go to your plugins, find a calendar plugin, install it, make a page that's devoted to the calendar, and it will show all the awesome stuff you're doing. However, I'm going to strongly advise you against doing that. Because here's why. Um, if you are like almost everyone else that I've worked with when it comes to these kinds of websites, here's what you will do. You'll put a calendar on your website. You'll fill it with stuff. It'll be great. You'll look super busy. And then in 2 or 3 months, you will stop updating your calendar as diligently as you had when you first started it. And then you will have a page that shows a calendar that is totally empty, or pretty close to it. This is not what you want to show to the world, right? Like, you don't want to show the world that you're not doing anything. There's nothing worse than an empty calendar. A calendar will just show, it'll look like you're not doing anything, you know? Even if you're doing a lot. Like, I don't have a calendar on my website because 99% of the time, my day is spent at my computer writing music. So if I had a calendar, I don't want to fill the calendar with at home writing music. You know, I'm going to put gigs and stuff on the calendar, which are going to look like, you know, one a week, 2 a week, maybe even less than that. So it's going to look like the rest of the time I'm not doing anything, which is not true at all. So I really strongly advise you not to put calendars, because any empty space on it just screams, I am not doing anything. And that's not the image we want to portray on these kinds of portfolio websites. If you must have a calendar, show it in list form. That would be like, you could have a calendar that shows the grid of like the month, or even more than that, several months, and then with stuff on each one. That's not great. That's going to show empty days. But if you have a calendar, and you can find plugins that'll do this, that'll show a list that just says like, you know, Tuesday, July 20th, I'm here. And then the next line it says, you know, Monday, August 1st, I'm here. You know, August 15th, I'm here. It just shows a list of stuff you're doing. That's a good way to do it as well. I still don't love it, but because at some point it's going to, if you're not really good about keeping that up to date, it's going to get empty. And then it's just going to say calendar is going to be like the heading, or like events or gigs or whatever, and then or like gallery shows, and then it's just going to be empty. So you really, really don't want that. Another even simpler way to do it is what I've done here. Just with this widget, upcoming shows, I just typed, right? Like I just typed like, here's what I'm doing, here's what's coming up. That is by far the simplest and most effective way to do that. You do have to keep it up. You do have to be sure you're going to your website often and inputting all that information, but you know, it's there and it's really easy. So if you must have a calendar, find a plugin that's a calendar, and please try to show it in a list form rather than the monthly grid form. But just be really careful that you don't have a whole bunch of empty stuff on there. Now, the one exception here is that for Slam Academy, we do have a calendar right here. And you can go to it, and it shows it in month form. But Slam Academy is a school. We have classes happening every week all the time. So while at first when I made the Slam Academy website, I was reluctant to put a calendar on it, it kind of forces me to keep our schedule up. So, I mean, this shows there's a lot happening every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. We have stuff happening almost all the time. So our business kind of depends on the calendar. So you can do that if you want. This calendar plugin I'm using here is called Event Espresso. It's actually a paid and a little expensive calendar, but it it not only manages a calendar, but it also manages our entire class registration system. So if you're selling classes or something like that, and you want a system to do that, Event Espresso is pretty good. It's a little expensive. I don't remember how much. It was around $100. But that's what we use to drive our registration system and everything. It's just a plugin. Okay, I think I've said my piece about calendars. I always have to really try to drill this home in these classes because I see a lot of empty calendars and I just think, why would you advertise that you're not doing anything? It just makes me sad. So consider that. It's your website. Do what you like, but take my advice under consideration.